action.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gabriella Suda-Ponick, and this is my grandmother
and author Nancy Ponick.
Yes, and today I'm going to be asking her some questions. Today is February 14th, 2016, so it's a Sunday, Valentine's Day. Very special. Okay.
I'm excited that you're interested in my books, Gabriella, and we'll have a good discussion.
Yes, me too. So, I'm going to be asking you questions.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, what's your favorite color?
Blue, because it's a sky.
That's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
2, do you like being an author?
Yes, being an author is a very interesting thing. I had always been on hairdresser boards in Iowa and Florida, all the way up to vice president on the state level. And I was secretary for several years and took minutes for 8-hour meetings. And when I didn't realize I was going to be an author till I got into my story and got the information, and then I knew I had to write my first book, Accountable, the Joseph Usher story.
Oh, wow, that's probably interesting book. It looks interesting, too.
It's a true story from my mother's family. They had a murder in my mother's grandparents' house in Cedar Rapids, Iowa in 1903. It's still unsolved mystery, and it's studied in law schools all over the country because of the crime scene investigation. The crime scene was messed up. So, and it's still unsolved. So, it's a very interesting book.
Number 3, how long did it take you to write a book?
Gabby, it took me 5 years to write this book. I spent a year getting all the information together. My Uncle Leland and Aunt Carol at that time did the genealogy, and they bumped into the murder doing genealogy. And they sent us all a sheet, which didn't mean anything on at that time. And then my son Gary asked me, do I know anything more about the Indian in our family? And any more on that murder? And so I called Aunt Carol, and she said, yes, I've got lots to send you. She sent me over 55 articles on it. It was a big deal in 1903, this story. And I had the Supreme Court. It went to the Supreme Court twice. I had the Usher family, what they thought about it. And there was a 16-year-old in the house at the time of the murder, Otto Usher, and he wrote 83 handwritten pages on it. So when I looked at all the information, I knew something wasn't right with all this information. I could see the differences in the stories, and the story grabbed hold of me, and I had to write it. It wouldn't let go of me, and it still quite hasn't let go of me. And I said in the beginning of my book that it would be solved, and everyone has given me, after they read my book, I ask them, who do you think did it? And they'll tell me, and from all the things they've told me, I've come to a different conclusion than when I wrote the book. So the truth has been brought to me, and it's very interesting. So there you go.
Number 4, do you have any pets?
Yes, I have a cat. He's a tuxedo cat called Lucky, and he's in and out of the house. He was born in the garage. He's a feral cat, so he thinks he likes it outside, but he likes it inside too, so he's in and out all day long. And then I also have my daughter Karen. When she comes, I get her 2 cats. So we got all kinds of fun.
Lucy
and there's Lucy, yeah, the French bulldog. So, all right, Gabby, that's good. Good for that.
Yes. And who's Lucky's mother?
Oh, she disappeared. So I
what's
think
her name? What do you call her?
Tiger Lily was her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Ask me more.
Did you get any reviews yet?
Yes, I had a really nice review from Phil Jason in Naples, and he does a review for new authors in the Florida Weekly, and he took my first book and ran with it, and it was really, really interesting. My first book is published, and it's in the bookstores and Barnes and Nobles in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The story of the Joseph Usher, Accountable, the Joseph Usher story, is actually a legend in Cedar Rapids area. Everybody knows the story, and now they know more about the story. The 16-year-old in the book, I got to meet his last 2 sons before they passed away. They knew nothing of their father's early days, and they learned about him from my book, and they loved the book. I didn't write the book to get anybody. I just wrote the book to tell the story, and so it's turned out to be really, really nice. My second book is called The Gold Digger's Confession, and this actually a confession arrived in 1903, right alongside one of Joseph Usher's articles in the Cedar Rapids papers. It'll knock your socks off, but I wrote the story to fit the confession, and it's turned out to be a really good book. You might shed some tears over this one. And then in the meantime, I wrote a book for you, as you know, Gabby. It's called It's Good to Be Gabby.
It's my little kitty.
Yeah, that's her little kitty. And it tells of your life story in the Green Diamond on Miami Beach. And it's a really nice story. In fact, it was chosen to be sold in schools and libraries because it's an uplifting story, a positive story of somebody you might like to emulate to be. It's really nice. And then my next book, because Landon and Gabby are first cousins and they're 2 months apart in age, so I knew if I wrote one for Gabby, I better write one for Landon. And I didn't know what it was going to be. It had to be a little different. But it turned out when my mother passed away, great-grandma Zubrad, we made a trip to Iowa in January. And this is the adventure. And Landon, on his way to Iowa, is sitting holding a book reading It's Good to Be Gabby. So it's
Let's
a great... you can show the picture. It's a great story of Landon. And yes, he is single for all the girls out there.
There's the book.
There's Landon. And then let's show the back of the book. There you go. And Landon's story, too, is really a nice, uplifting story about the process that he went through. He had never seen snow before, so he got to see snow and play in the snow. You kids were in 20 below zero weather. Anyway, it's a great story, too. And so they're all on Amazon if anybody wants to order one, or they can contact you and we can get them one. So, there you go.
Do you have any agents?
No, I don't have any agents, but let me tell you what happens when you write a book.